We begin with breaking news at noon. The White House has released the documented summary of a call with the president of Ukraine. The release comes after House Democrats announced they are moving forward with an impeachment inquiry into the president. CBS 4's Nicole Killian is live in Washington, D.C. with the details. Nicole.
Lauren and Maribel, in just a few hours, President Trump will actually be meeting face-to-face with Ukraine's leader after having that phone call with him back over the summer. The president continues to insist that he did nothing wrong after the White House released a partial transcript of his conversation. Now, according to that partial transcript, President Trump says there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the attorney general would be great. This is what he told Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. So again, it does reaffirm that the president did bring up Joe Biden in that call. Now, again, the president says there was no quid pro quo here, that he didn't try to hold up military aid in exchange for pressuring the Ukrainian government to look into allegations against former Vice President Joe Biden and his son, who worked for a Ukrainian company. However, of course, Democrats feel otherwise. One Democrat, the head of the House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff, who we're expecting to hear from later this hour, already saying that the president's call seems mob-like. Republicans, on the other hand, some coming to the president's defense on this, saying that it's insane to try to impeach a president over this call. Of course, this follows House Democrats, specifically Speaker Pelosi, coming out yesterday launching a formal impeachment inquiry into the president. President Trump continued to defend his call with Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky after releasing a partial transcript. During the call, President Trump says there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the attorney general would be great. Zelensky said he would look into it and asked for more information, to which the president responded, "I will have Mr. Giuliani give you a call, and I am also going to have Attorney General Barr call, and we will get to the bottom of it."
There was no pressure. The way you had that built up, that call, it was going to be the call from hell. It turned out to be a nothing call.
President Trump insists he did not put a hold on millions in military aid in an attempt to pressure Ukraine to conduct the investigation into former Vice President Biden. Democrats believe they can establish wrongdoing even though there is no quid pro quo on the call.
There doesn't need to be a quid pro quo to be a crime. Just the fact that he did all those things is sufficient.
CBS News has learned the White House is also working with intelligence officials to release a redacted version of the whistleblower complaint, which was filed after the president's call. Democrats say their investigation needs to go beyond the transcript and the whistleblower complaint.
There may have been many interactions by the president or people like Rudy Giuliani to apply this pressure campaign.
Now, late today, the House is expected to vote on a resolution of disapproval against the administration for what it claims is blocking this whistleblower complaint. We also expect to learn more when the acting director of national intelligence testifies before lawmakers tomorrow. Live from the White House, Nicole Killian, CBS 4 News.